Hey guys, Ben here from PaxPower Performance Trucks in Houston, Texas, with another awesome ZR2 behind me that I want to use for a few things. First off, I just want to show off this new color that GM has given us. We did a ton of trucks in the 2023, 2024 Thunderstorm Gray, maybe 20 trucks in that color. We loved it, but for 25, GM got rid of that and gave us this new Cypress Gray. We think it's a really cool color. In some lights it looks gray, in some lights it shows up a little green. It really plays nice with this black chrome they put on the ZR2 grills. And so we think it's a really cool color for the ZR2 and a really cool color for Jackal. And in fact, I think we've got 3 more Jackals being built in this color right now. So obviously popular with our customers. The things I want to use this truck to talk to you about are this. One, now is the time to buy a Silverado and Jackal. Prices have been high for years, but now prices are low, interest rates are low, now is the time. 2, this customer upgraded to 3.0 Fox shocks and gives us an excellent truck to talk about why you might want to upgrade the shocks on your Silverado or on your Jackal, which one you should go with. And 3, we're going to talk about wheels and tires, and specifically something on tires that every truck owner should know. So even if you're not a PaxPower customer, you just like our stuff, hang tight for this video. We're going to teach you a thing or two. The first thing I want to talk to you guys about is why is now the time to buy a truck. Whether it's just a Silverado, whether it's doing a Jackal with PaxPower, now is the best time probably ever in the last 5 or 6 years that we've been building these to build a Jackal. One reason, prices of trucks had gone up for years and years and years. Interest rates have gone up. The whole time PaxPower's existed, truck cost up, interest rates up. Now that is reversed, and that is reversed dramatically. The first customer back in 2022 that did a ZR2 with us paid $92,000 for that truck. Now you can get a ZR2 with a 6.2 liter behind me for $65,000. These things are discounted $10,000, $12,000, $13,000 off of MSRP. And we thought that would just be for the 2025 models. But now the 26s are hitting the lots and dealers are marking them down the same amount. So you can get a truck like this for a pretty good price at around $65K. And then when you upgrade that to a Jackal, you could have something like this behind me in your driveway for around $90,000. That's the same cost as an RHO, a 37-inch Raptor. So we think this truck hits the price point it needs to. And 2, interest rates. They have been high for years. Right now, GM has promotional rates on both 25s and 26s. You can get between 0 and 2.9% interest. That's great, and you can use that both on the truck and the PaxPower upgrade. And finally, here we are in October. Those of you business owners that need to buy a truck and get it on this year's taxes because you've got some profits to write off, give us a call. We are now booking builds into December, so if you want to get one of these done by the end of the year, give us a call soon. Now, when you buy a ZR2 from Chevy, these are the shocks that come on that model. And it's a pretty good shock. It's made by a third-party vendor, Multimatic, which makes some awesome race cars. They build the Ford GT and that amazing Mustang for Ford. So they've obviously got some racing pedigree, do a lot of prototype cars. So this is a really good shock. And we think for most people, this is fine to leave on your Jackal. And we make our long travel suspension work with this shock, and heard from a lot of customers that had, 4, 6, 10,000 miles on their ZR2. When we turn them into Jackals and put the long travel suspension on, you get a pretty incredible ride out of this shock. So it's not really necessary to upgrade the shocks on your ZR2. If price point's a concern, maybe you're not gonna do a ton of time off-road, this is a really good shock to use, and a lot of our customers stick with this. Now, the second shock that a lot of Jackal customers upgrade to is a 2.5-inch coilover, and that may be from Fox, like the one I have in my hand, Icon, sometimes use Kings, And no matter the brand, they're all fantastic products. They all come with a reservoir, so if you're going off-road, this is able to manage heat and keep your performance consistent for a longer time. Admittedly, this shock does ride better than the Multimatics, but it's not night and day. You know, it's 10% better. It's not 50% better or 100% better. It's a marginal increase, but it is really good. Also, these have some adjustment to them. These have compression adjustment. I don't use it that much. I pretty much keep them at full soft, but I've noticed if you've got a load or a trailer, having these adjusters on your shocks really helps a lot and helps you keep the ride dialed in no matter what you're doing with your truck. Now this customer went all in, didn't stick with the Multimatics, didn't go with a 2.5, instead they did a 3.0 coilover with internal bypass from Fox. And these are the best shocks that you can get to bolt into the factory location for one of these trucks, and they ride the best. Now, like I said, from the Multimatics to 2.5, it's not a night and day difference. It's a marginal increase. If you want to have the best, you want to have these shocks. And there is one thing about internal bypass. I have 3.0 internal bypass on my personal Jackal. There are certain situations where it feels so much better than anything else. And that is because of the internal bypass technology. It allows the fluid to go around the shock valving. So on slow movements, whether that be off-road and some undulating bumps or on a highway with some kind of slow movements, these 3.0s feel like nothing else. It feels like you're riding on air when you are in that zone. Now, when you hit a big bump, it feels just like a 2.5. Like once it's going through the dampener, it's pretty close. But in those certain movements, if you just want to know you have the best possible ride out there, then maybe you should be thinking about 3.0s. Also, if you like adjustability, these have both compression and rebound dampening. You can really dial these in to your preferences and what you do for your truck. So if you want the best, it may be worth it to you, but for most people, the Multimatic's gonna be the way to go. For those that want some bling and see some reservoirs and a few upgrades, go with 2.5s. But if budget isn't a problem and you want the best, go with these 3.0s. The final thing I want to use this truck for is to talk about tires. And this is something that applies to every one of you, regardless if you're a potential PaxPower customer. The next time that you're shopping for tires, I want you to do this. Check for tire weights. They make a huge difference. Every build at PaxPower, you're allowed to pick your wheels and tires. We encourage it. It helps each one of these trucks be different. So this customer went with the new method wheel, this bead lock. You can buy some optional rings for it. Really cool wheel. We're using this a lot lately. But on his tires, you know, in all my videos, I'm like, hey, I like the KO2. We use the Raptor spec. This customer went a different way. He did these Nitto Trail Grappler mud terrains. They look freaking awesome. But the thing I want you to think about with weight is that it was extremely noticeable. When I test drove this truck, I knew within a few hundred yards that this thing had heavy tires on it. So there's some benefits to heavy tires. I mean, off-road, I think this thing's probably indestructible. You encounter a ladder on the freeway, you're probably gonna be fine with this tire. But if you care about acceleration or gas mileage, this is not gonna be the tire for you. It weighs 85 pounds. That is a huge number. The tire that we put on most of our trucks, the 37-inch KO2 Load Range C, weighs 64 pounds. So, you know, when we're recommending that tire to a lot of you customers, that's why 64 versus 85 is a big number. But again, choose whatever you want. And just to wrap this video up, you know, from this video, you know we like talking trucks. We know trucks. If you're interested in a truck build, the first thing to do is always give us a call. We'd love to hear from you and figure out how to get something like this in your driveway.